It's time to wake up. Kincaid and Salchunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincaid and Andrew Salchunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
And a happy Friday morning to everybody out there across the Delaware Valley. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salchunas. To my left, John Kincaid. And we've got ourselves a big day on Monday.
What?
We know that
Are
June 1st.
Are you previewing Monday already?
Well, I think everybody at this point, if there's a big story in Philadelphia sports, Johnny, it is going to be what in the world happens with A.J. Brown. I feel like it's just the night before the first day of school, the show before the show. So we've got some great stuff for you today. We will touch on the A.J. Brown conversation.
We'll touch on it.
But,
right.
Of course, Monday is going to be largely a conversation about number 11, the potential return, the potential trade place where he ends up. If there's a new team in the mix, there's been a lot of information and misinformation, and that's something that will reach a fever pitch, I imagine, over the weekend as we continue to get reports on that.
And you are on the record as saying you believe we will or will not know Monday morning.
I don't think we'll get the news Monday.
I believe that Monday morning we will know. That the reports will be there that the trade, it may not be formalized, but it'll be, the reports will be, this is the trade. That is where I'm at.
Whether we know
I can't
Monday.
wait. It's going to be a lot of speculation. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I loved your idea today, though, and Connor was like, let's not talk out Monday today.
Yes.
And I love that idea.
But I did have a thought on Monday that led me to where we're going to go today. We've been doing a lot of looking forward recently. What's next for the Sixers and Flyers there in their offseason? What is going to happen with the Eagles this year? Not just A.J. Brown related, but with a huge season on tap. What's going to happen the rest of the way for the Phillies? And on top of all of that, with a huge summer in Philadelphia from a not just national sports perspective, from a world sports perspective, there are a lot of things that you should want to see. Not just our teams, but you got the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, the World Cup, and all kinds of other events. So the idea of what you want to see stuck in my mind last night when I was going through ideas of where we want to head on today's show.
And we're the center of the universe this summer.
We are.
Honestly, we are the epicenter, being the semi-quincentennial, which a lot of the local news people have not been able to figure out yet.
We'll get there.
It's the semi-quincentennial. And, so we're the center of the universe. Everybody's going to be talking about Philly all summer long.
It's wide-reaching. So this is a wide-reaching topic. It's going to engage all four teams, and we'd love to hear from you on it. It's a simple question with a billion different potential answers. If you could pick one thing to see in Philadelphia sports this summer, what would it be and why? This could be an accomplishment of a team. I want to see the Phillies catch the Braves in the NL East by the time this summer is over, so that when we get to September, we're looking at a division race. It could be something with one of the teams in the offseason that is either rebuilding, like the Sixers, or continuing a lengthy rebuild in the Flyers, a transaction. It could be something that you want to see A.J. Brown related, or with the development of Sean Mannion's offense for the Eagles, or maybe just something that they say that makes you feel a lot more confident about the season upcoming. So it can involve all four different
So what are you,
teams.
Santa Claus this morning?
I can't guarantee that any of these will happen.
So nothing is guaranteed.
But you can ask.
Let's make sure we do not get any kind of lawsuits on this. Connor is not guaranteeing that any of these things can be granted. I know mine, and I think mine would shock you.
You know what's funny? I had no idea when I was writing down this topic. Sometimes, we've been working together for a long time, Johnny.
We have been.
Normally, I know where you're going to go. I don't know where you're going on this, and that's why it's such an intriguing question, because I don't know where anybody's going to go. One parameter, if, for example, like let's say your number one thing you want to see is the Sixers trade the contract of Joel Embiid. You get out from under that. Yes, that's valid, but it can't be Sixers trade Embiid for Wembanyama. All right. So some semblance of realism has to be held in this conversation. With that being said, Johnny, what is yours?
I'm actually slightly disappointed because the example you just gave is what would make me the happiest. Because I don't care if the Phillies catch the Braves.
Okay.
Because I've seen the Phillies be a wild card team, sneak into the playoffs, be a 4 seed, be a 6 seed. A 6 seed go to the World Series Game 6. A 4 seed go to the NLCS Game 7. I don't care if they win the division. I don't care if they catch the Braves. Let the Braves win 105 games. I don't care. I know that when October comes, if I've got Sanchez and Wheeler and Duran pitching well, I got a shot. So I'm good with that. The only franchise in town to me that has no path is the Sixers. The only way that path can begin to be cleared is if one of the major obstacles is cleared. I think Paul George is more tradable. So if Joel Embiid's contract was able to be traded, that would be my move. That would be the thing that I would want.
And I completely understand what you're saying there. I am on your side with that. Now,
why do I think there's a but coming?
Because I'd imagine there are some folks out there, and we're not talking about the Embiid defenders that are like, oh, keep him here. You can only win with him.
Oh, boy.
But I imagine,
you mean the Ray Dunn cult?
This is not them. I would imagine, though, there are some people that look at the contract situation, have been reading what they've read and hearing what they've heard from national voices in the NBA saying you can't move that contract, and say, well, yeah, I could make that my number one thing I want to see, but maybe I want to go with something that's a higher probability to actually happen.
Okay, give me one.
That's why, for me, it's also Sixers, but mine would be Paul George. Moving off the Paul George contract seems like something that is slightly more probable.
Well, it's more probable. Like, more people in the NBA would say it's a viable thing to make Paul George work than to make Joel Embiid work.
Yes.
So there's no question there, especially with what you saw when Paul George came back from his mystery suspension, that he never explained to you because he couldn't take the time to tell the truth. That's one that I would really enjoy. Yeah, I mean, that'd be one. Look, it would push the ball in the right direction, what you're saying. But if I'm wishing for the home run swing.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm wishing for the Embiid swing. But I understand where you're at. Is either one puts me in a better position as I head to next September. If both of them are on the roster next September, folks, there is no hope. There's no hope.
There might be 1%.
No, there's hope.
But that's not nearly enough.
No, there's hope of being potentially entertained watching some regular season basketball.
Yeah, first round series.
But there's no hope of saying you're going to contend for anything. What you're hoping for is you want to see my future. I can see some of the future starting to unfold in front of me. And until Joel Embiid is gone, that future is not there. There's no future for the 76ers till he's off the books.
It's also a lovely summer Friday. And that may have people in a positive mindset. We're talking about what I would call negative transactions. Hey, we got to get rid of these players.
Sure.
You just did a great event at Chickies and Pete's in Marlton last night.
It was
with John
fun.
Marks and Bill Colarulo. There may be Bill Colarulos out there today that say the number one thing I want to see is the Flyers go make a big splash. Bring me Austin Matthews. Did you curtail that, by the way?
No, we did do. Yeah, I did. And I think by the end of the conversation, last night we had it on air. And I think by the end of the conversation, John Marks would have to support this later. I think Bill, from his eye contact and everything, understood what I was saying. Mm-hmm. That was a Mr. Snyder move. That was an old Flyers move. But he brought up something that I said, no, don't stop dreaming about that one. If by chance the Edmonton Oilers said that Connor McDavid was available, I would empty the freaking coffers to get Connor McDavid. I would do anything in the world to get Connor McDavid if I was the Flyers. Now that I would. I'd be picking up like 3.5 seasons, I believe, in age. No injury history.
Yep.
And when you hear people say, yeah, but his playoffs, he hasn't been the same guy in the playoffs. Yeah, either was Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner wasn't in Toronto either, and they told you in Toronto he sucked. He's not a playoff guy. He goes to Vegas, and he's the leader of their team, leading them to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Also, let's understand what, quote-unquote, not a playoff guy means for Connor McDavid. Multiple Cup appearances.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes,
like Cup final appearances.
I would absolutely I'm telling you this, I would offer him a bagster to help. I would get a bagster to help him get rid of any junk he has before the move. And if he needed help packing, I'd be glad to help make boxes. I'm very good at making those boxes. I would do whatever it took. Now, when he heard me support the Connor McDavid talk, if that came about, Connor McDavid said, you know what? It's probably best that I get out of the one-horse town that's Edmonton. The only worst town in the NHL would be if you were stuck in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I hear the winters are nice up there.
Oh, Edmonton's just terrible. but Winnipeg's the worst. Winnipeg is absolutely awful. So if he said he wanted out, I would tell Danny Briere to do anything. And I mean anything.
See, there may be Flyers fans that feel that way today, and I'm more of the, hey, just
stay the course?
Yeah, stay the course.
Well, that's fine because things have looked good, right?
Yes, they have. We're going to have a conversation later on in the show about fan engagement and fan focus when it comes to mainly those two teams that we were just talking about, these Sixers and the Flyers. But let's get the ball going a little bit. Let's grease the wheels even further here because this is an all four teams, a 4-for-4 Friday, as Andrew Salchonis would call it if he was sitting there in this seat today. He's got the day off today and Monday
Enjoying a little time with the family.
Yes.
Great.
So we got you covered. Let's talk Eagles for a second here.
Sure.
If there was one thing with the Eagles, is there anyone in the fan base that has a different answer than something A.J. Brown related? Or is that just the number one focus of this team till that's done?
I think there are people that would answer on the text line or on the voice text or whatever that would say, don't trade A.J. Brown.
Ooh. Interesting.
I believe that would be the answer. I met a few last night over at Chickies and Pete's in Marlton, which, by the way, is just such a spectacular venue. It was absolutely awesome, and thanks to people at Chickies for hosting us last night, and to Bet Parks for being our hosts. I think there are people, and I talked to a couple last night, and by the way, they made very compelling cases. They're believing that the Eagles are not going to get a first-round pick. They're believing those reports.
Yeah.
I am not believing those reports. So they're believing those reports. I could be wrong. But they said if you're not going to get a first-round pick, they would not trade him. And I understand that if someone says, don't trade him, if you're not getting a first-round pick, don't trade him. I understand somebody's sentiments about that big time.
We'll see if we hear from those people on the Davis Honda text line today. 610-632-0975 is the phone number. You can call in, text in, voice memo, everything. The YouTube is up and running. So we got a lot of ways for you to jump in the conversation. If I didn't get a first-round pick for A.J. Brown, I'd be hesitant to move him. So
you would agree with those people then? You would say, let's hold on to him and wait for a training camp injury or something.
Yeah, listen, I think there'd be more opportunity. It'd be a little uncomfortable. We'd have to continue to have the conversation.
I would not rush to trade him.
No. And Howie's not a low-value guy.
No.
He's not. He doesn't just offload to offload. And this is not one of those situations that has become so untenable where it needs to be June 1st, what is it, 12:01 p.m. or a.m.?
A.m.
I always mess that up
with
the 12s. The first minute of the day, he's gone. I don't know. We'll see. And we've gotten some conflicting reports on that. I'm sure we'll hear more about it throughout the day.
Adam's golf trip makes me think, though, that it's going to go down quickly. But we'll see.
We will see a lot. We're putting a lot on an Adam Schefter golf trip.
Well, I'm looking forward. Maybe it's just I'm all golfed up today.
We have the information we have. And then let's talk a little bit about the Fightins as well, because there are plenty of people who I saw some really interesting after the series in San Diego. It was perfect. It was great timing, right? This huge stretch of games.
Like a wake you up type of thing?
A lot of folks that this is the time of year where baseball is really the only game in town. We got a Game 7 in the NBA out west that we'll talk about. The Stanley Cup Finals are just about set in the NHL, but baseball is going to take center stage here in the next couple weeks. And with that, it was a time where people turned their attention, more so than I think we saw in the past month and a half or so with the Phillies. And what they saw was a 3-game sweep. They saw history from Christopher Sanchez. And I saw a lot of social media commentary of this team's got me back in. People are starting to, and I don't think it's a majority of the people who are out. I think it's going to take more than just 3 games. Sure. But there may be people that hear this question today and they say, hey, I just bought back in on the Phils after that series in San Diego. I'm excited for the matchup with the Dodgers. The number one thing I want to see, I don't care about these teams that aren't playing right now. We'll get there when we get there. I care about the team that we have currently in their season having as much success as possible. So we'll see if we have any Phillies number one wants on the phone line, text line today as well. But speaking of the Phillies, let's take a look at this Dodgers series tonight. You were very confident, Johnny, heading into this West Coast swing.
Mainly because I've seen them, and you doing the Locked On Phillies podcast, you've had to stay up, and you have to stay up on these West Coast trips. I try to lay on the couch and stay up as long as I can and watch. The Phillies just tend to play well at Chavez Ravine, and I got buddies out there in LA who go to the games who are Dodger fans, and so I will always sort of be texting with them, and they're at the game, and they'll be going back and forth about the Phils. I just like the way the Phillies play on the West Coast. I sort of like it.
I do too.
They always sort of show up.
Yeah.
They tend to play their best ball.
Unless it's Arizona.
And after last week, I really thought they were going to answer the bell. That this team is far better than they have shown us.
They are.
And I keep waiting for that bell to ring.
Well, so far you've been right. They won their first 3 out in the California
So now they
swing.
only got to go 3-3 the rest of the way in the next 6 games, because the 3 they play with San Diego. It was the 9-game. It was the San Diego sandwich with the Dodgers in the middle. And I thought they would go 6-3 in that stretch. I did not think they'd sweep San Diego.
No, I didn't either. And I only needed to see them win 5 of the 9 games. Just go above 500 on this stretch.
And you'd be happy with it.
So
sure,
that opens up a very interesting question. We have a big stretch within the 9-game stretch. How much does this Dodgers series, just in and of itself, take either San Diego one on either side? The pieces of bread are gone. We're just getting to the meat in the middle of the sandwich. How much does this Dodgers series matter on top of the stretch? Like, if they were to win 2 out of 3 against the Padres when they come back here, but in between those 2 series victories was like a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Dodgers. How do you evaluate?
Like the Dodgers sweep them?
Yes.
I'd be still fine because I've seen them. I've seen this Phillies team. I see them play the Dodgers tough. I've seen them play other teams tough. They just, in the regular season, I sort of know what the Phillies are, and they tend to play good teams pretty well. And I'm a believer. I'm still very much a believer that this club is going to be playing in October. And they're going to be there. And I really don't care how they punch their ticket to get there, especially with what I've seen with the top of the rotation hosses. So I don't care. But I'm going to be lying to you through my teeth if I'm not saying that they go and take 2 out of 3 at Chavez Ravine after sweeping the Padres. And then if they came home and played the Padres well on top of that, then I'm not thinking, okay, that's giving me the window of opportunity to say exactly what I thought last fall. They should have beaten the Dodgers in that series. They were right there. They should have beaten the Dodgers, and they didn't. That I would be thinking to myself, if they get another chance this year, they can do it.
I think you're right, but I know that a majority of Phillies fans are going to think you're wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And here's why. Because
what's different than that on a normal day? Let's be honest about it.
It's kind of the job description for us at Sports Talk Radio. But
it's the truth.
People are going to immediately equate this series in late May to the NLDS that we just watched last October.
Okay. And the Phillies I think the Phillies were the better team and blew it. I think they blew it. I think they blew the NLDS.
Those are 2 separate statements to me. I don't think they were the better team. I think they had every opportunity to win that series.
Well, the thing is they were right there. They should have won that series. I think Joe Smith in the Broomall Little League at Paul Judge Field could have managed a better series than their manager did. And I know from my couch that I could have. And I at least simply just with basic understanding of baseball would have had the Phillies in a Game 5 at home.
Well, now they have Magic Mattingly, so we don't have to worry about that.
I mean, look. I'm not. The love is. It's not wearing off, but I am call. I'm calling him on things this week. So
honeymoon phase might be getting close to over. But I know people are going to watch this Dodgers series, and if the Phillies don't have success out there in LA, regardless of what they do against the Padres, this is the ultimate, what October could look like series, right or wrong. And I think taking 3 games in May and evaluating it for 4 months later is crazy.
So you're thinking that there's potential for more negativity on this series depending on what goes on than there is positivity.
Absolutely. And you seem like you're thinking the opposite way.
I am. But that's interesting because you could easily convince me by the end of the show of your way of thinking, considering how negative the fan base is at times on the Phillies.
And to a lot of extents, I don't blame them.
I'm very positive. Yeah, look, no, I can't. I wish I could blame them.
Yeah. It'd be easier if it was just like, wish the Eagles conversation is so much easier to have. Hey, they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I wish I could blame them, but I can't. I can't. So I have to understand. I have to understand more of where it comes from.
So a lot going on here on this Friday. We're not mailing it in because Sal Chunas isn't here.
No, he's mailing it. He's mailing it in.
We're working. What's the number one thing you want to see in Philadelphia sports this summer? A transaction, an accomplishment, and what a team is doing in current play. We open that up to you. Coming up next.
I already have a soccer text from one of my buddies.
A soccer text. I love it.
I'm so embarrassed for him.
Listen, World Cup, center of the universe.
I'm so embarrassed for him.
You said it, Johnny.
I'm embarrassed for him.
Now, this might be a scary conversation, or it might be a reassuring one. How much danger are the Eagles really in? Sometimes a worst-case scenario can actually make you feel better. We'll see if our evaluation does next on the Birds. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salchunas, John Kincaid to my left, Sean Rodman on the board, and we're back after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What is the number one thing that you want to see this summer here in Philadelphia sports?
I want to see that Nate Bargatze movie.
Hey, that's good too.
I've seen him in comedy concert a few times, and he's awesome. So that's a movie. I never want to go to the movies.
No,
that's one of the movies. That's one I'll go see.
Listen, that's the beautiful thing about the start of summer is you just think about all the stuff that you want to do. And of course, being a sports talk radio station, we are focused in on the sports portion of it. In Philadelphia, Johnny, you called it the center of the sports world.
We are.
This summer? Absolutely.
During what?
The semi-quincentennial.
Very good, Connor.
Yeah. I didn't know there would be a quiz today.
That's why I would pick Connor above any member of our staff for if we had Jeopardy. Connor would be our representative on the Fanatic if he did Jeopardy.
I'm happy to accept that responsibility.
What's that little weasel who hosts it?
Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings. Yeah, I'd say pick Connor.
Now, the center of the sports world,
yes,
the center of the Philadelphia sports world is always the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's January or if it's June.
No, it does not.
And we've been talking a lot of Birds this week. Now, as we mentioned in the start of the show, in case you missed the open, obviously the A.J. Brown story, the biggest thing going on with them right now. June 1st is Monday. We are going to have a lot breaking that down on Monday.
And you suggested that today we not do a lot of A.J. Brown.
I mean, there's so much that we've known forever.
Right.
And there's so much that we don't know that we haven't learned at this point. The conversation, once we get to the day of Monday, we'll have a lot to break down.
I love it.
But wanted to open this up to a little bit more thought process on the Birds. And there will be.
I love it.
If A.J. Brown is traded on Monday or Tuesday, whenever that happens, and we expect that to happen, there will be life for the Philadelphia Eagles after that. Saquon Barkley had an interesting comment during OTAs where he was just like, yeah, the show goes on. Even if Jalen's not here, if I'm not here, if AJ's not here, this is going to keep going. We've known that about the Eagles. So the season will still happen. And this is a big year. Now, John, a little bit later on in the segment, coming up in 5 minutes, you have something that you want to talk about with the folks on Unfiltered and the continued back and forth between the Prove It Year conversation.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni.
I'm putting a challenge out to the boys, and I'm going to see if they're willing to take it.
We will get to that in just 5 minutes here. But part of the ethos of that conversation is because of the level of pressure on the Eagles this year. And it doesn't just affect this season. They've done a near full 180 on the offensive scheme. They have players that they're going to have to pay on the defensive side of the ball. They have a quarterback that is in need of an extension at some point in the near future that is going to change the cap structure of this team. If this season does not go well, there could be some really, really uncomfortable times on the horizon for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I would say so. Really uncomfortable.
And that can make people nervous. We've become very used to, whether you want to admit to it or not, and I don't want to say complacent, but ask yourself about the type of football fan you are right now as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. We in this city have become very used to The Eagles being one of we'll use the gold standard term, gold standards of the National Football League. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. But when you get used to greatness and then you consider it potentially going away, if even for a couple of seasons, that's a scary thought. So I think this worst case scenario will actually end up making us feel better.
Okay, I need to hear more. I need to hear you hash this out a little bit. Little bit more.
What is the worst possible thing that could happen for the Philadelphia Eagles this year in your estimation? Like the bottom of the barrel floor of this team.
No questions. The worst thing is, are you talking record or something that happens to the team?
Let's start with the record.
Okay, record.
10 wins.
9-8.
Yeah, like
9-8. That's what I really believe would be something along those lines.
And that's everything going on. How many teams in the NFL, and this is not how good we have it, but how many teams in the NFL would kill to
for 9-8? I got you. All right, now let me tell you, though, what I think as far as the team, though.
Yeah, the bigger scenario here. Give it to me.
Is that Sean Mannion stinks.
I thought you might go there.
Is that Sean Mannion, and I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that I think he's going to. But you told me, like, we're talking boogeyman here, that Sean Mannion stinks, that it's awful, that it was that it's terrible, and it's not what we expected, and it really doesn't hash out the way we expected, and Sean Mannion looks like we're actually pining for the days of Kevin Patullo.
I don't think, dude, you could be the offensive coordinator. I don't think people would be asking for Kevin Patullo back. But I know what you're saying. So
you know what I'm saying?
This is perfect because that's what I imagined a lot of people would think about here. What if the turnaround with the offense, the change that they're going through, they've taken something that wasn't inherently broken and just looked really bad last year under Kevin Patullo, and they tried to fix something that wasn't broke. Listen,
right.
all the dads around the Delaware Valley will have that saying of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And maybe that's what the Eagles are trying to do here. So let's say Sean Mannion doesn't work. What do the Eagles do? They go out and they make that change. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are not afraid of quick changes and pulling out of a tailspin earlier than pretty much any other organization, definitely in the city and in football. So they will make quick changes. They're not afraid of that. And that's kind of par for the course for the Eagles in the Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni era. Like new OC, changes all the time. They're used to that.
And the Eagles have been, as you say, change is that's their most common, that's the most consistent thing about the Eagles is change.
I think this organization is very comfortable with being uncomfortable and changing things around when they need to. So if Sean Mannion doesn't work, you know what you do? Hey, thanks for the time. We tried the experiment. We're can turn it around.
Yeah, we're done with you. Thank you for your time.
On top of that, if that doesn't work, and it is clearly the offensive coordinator, that's what's going to be a really interesting dynamic this year, is being able to differentiate if it doesn't work or if it does work, like who shares the piece of the pie. Like, is it Hurts? Is it Mannion? And who's actually making this thing run or not run? But if it's Mannion, and very clearly we saw last year, right, Kevin Patullo was the biggest issue with this offense. I don't think
that's fair.
Jalen Hurts didn't have his best year.
No.
But nobody came out of that season saying it was Hurts and not Patullo.
When you hear Jalen speak of talking with Sean Mannion, I think it's really clear that he enjoys dealing with the new Sean Mannion over what he dealt with last year.
So my point in that is just saying, like, we're going to know. I don't think we'll get to the end of this season and be like, oh, well, we can't tell if the issues that we did see, because there will be some issues to some extent, are Mannion or Hurts. We'll know which side it's on. If it's Mannion, they move on from him. You know what they do? They go right back to the 2024, hey, we're going to beat you with strength and power. We're going to run the football. We're going to do what Jalen Hurts does, which is manage the game. And they've proven multiple seasons they can have high-level, win the NFC type of success with that style. So
changing on the fly also.
You just go back to what worked before, and that's not something that honestly may be better for the long-term prospects of Jalen Hurts in this city as the franchise quarterback. He may be in a more comfortable position if they go back to that. All of this is dependent on what we see this year.
You know what's interesting, though, is you went to the word comfortable. And I think the Eagles made a conscious decision to say we don't give a damn about Jalen being comfortable. Whether that's a smart strategy or not, we're going to find out.
But that's a one-year thing to me, right? If the Sean Mannion thing doesn't work, and we're talking potential worst-case scenario for the Eagles.
The worst-case scenario.
I believe that the bottom line is more important than proving a point, and they will go back to, hey, what does Jalen Hurts feel most comfortable with? And you can win that way. So the worst case is you're back where you are, which was a pretty darn good place to be. But you're right with the making Jalen uncomfortable thing.
Yeah, I just don't think it. I think the Eagles have shown you by at least the strategy they've taken, even with his contract. They're not interested in making him comfortable.
I don't think Nick Sirianni feels comfortable either.
And I think that's clear because Nick Sirianni, from what I understand, Nick Sirianni he's got this year and next year under contract.
So talk to me then about this prove it conversation because Unfiltered fired some more shots.
They were yesterday. As I was driving over to Marlton, which I found out when you drive from Landview over to Marlton can take you a long time.
Yes, it can.
In late afternoon. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Connor. And I'll even take the glasses off so so my boy can get a real good look at it, the boys in the afternoon. Let's get it, because I want Ricky and Bill to get a good look at this one. I'm making the guys a challenge because yesterday they even played the blasphemy of the Price is Right loser horns.
Oh, no. That's fighting words for John
On an opinion of mine. By the way, 1 month from today, you'll see me on the Price is Right, June 29th. Okay, this is my challenge to Bill Colarulo and Ricky Batalico, who yesterday were playing Billy Big Balls as far as one of my opinions. Let me restate the opinion very clearly. If, and I say if, and by the way, I do not think this is going to happen, but if the Philadelphia Eagles were to not win a playoff game this season, so they do not win a playoff game, they can even win the division, they could make the playoffs. If the Eagles do not win a playoff game this season, I am 100% convinced that Nick Sirianni will not be their coach next season. This will be his last year. That was where Bill and yesterday, Bill and Ricky were playing the Price is Right loser horns on me, saying that is a ridiculous take, that I say this is a prove-it year. I think that's prove-it. Am I being unfair to say a prove-it year is win a playoff game or you're out?
So I disagree with what you believe is going to happen.
No.
I don't disagree.
Well, what do you mean what I believe is going to happen?
Believe, like if they get to that point. Okay. I don't think you could just blanket say he's gone, but I think your thought process to get to that is exactly where I'm at with him. It's a prove-it year for both Sirianni and Hurts.
I think that he is absolutely out the door. If he does not win a playoff game, he's out the door. So if Ricky and Bill would like to make some sort of a wager with those exact parameters, Nick Sirianni does not win a playoff game this year, I say he's gone. If they believe differently and they think that's a ridiculous take, if they would like to make a wager, we can.
Okay, we'll see if they answer back. You can hear them 2 to 6 this afternoon right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
I'll put my glasses back on.
There's a lot on the line for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. There's a lot on the line this weekend for two teams not named the Philadelphia 76ers. Coming up next, we've got an awesome Game 7 in the NBA that the stage was set for last night. And John has one more thing on the Jared McCain conversation. We'll also open up our Twitter poll based on the Phillies-Dodgers series. So a lot still to get into here. Don't go anywhere. It's Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What is the number one thing you want to see this summer in Philadelphia sports? We're opening that up here on this lovely summer Friday, the last one of May. I guess not technically summer. I know, John.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
He sent me something on that.
Yes.
I think that'll be fun to have with Amy Fadul later, who will join us from the start of the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. Jeff Kerr joins us at 9:30 to talk some Phillies as well. So we'll be joined by a couple of our friends on the show today. But I want to open up the text line to you out there. The Davis Honda text line is rolling as it always is. And we have people checking in on the number one thing they want to see. You can experience the Davis difference at Davis Honda in Burlington. Sean, what do we have on the text line?
Yeah, first up, Tim from Harrisburg checking in, saying the number one thing I want to see this summer is for the Flyers to trade for a number one center. Maybe Matthews. Matthews, if he wants out of Toronto, he'd be a great number one center.
I knew we'd get those people, Johnny. You're already shaking your head. But you're in on Connor McDavid.
It's the ghost of Mr. Snyder in this fan base. It's like whatever the shiniest toy is out there. You go and you say, here's what I want. No, we don't want Connor McDavid, I'll talk to you. There's not the injury history.
But Austin Matthews, full nonstop for
Austin Matthews, no. The Connor McDavid, first off, Connor McDavid's the better player.
Well, yes.
But Austin Matthews, who is actually a year younger, but he's in chronological years, he's a year younger. But in body years, he's probably like 40. No, Austin Matthews is too banged up. And I am absolutely not going to empty the coffers. Danny Briere did everything he could to get this franchise back on track. He dug out of the salary cap hole. He did all the smart moves. He built up the draft picks. He did everything like that. I'm not making a deal like that. No. And I don't believe the Flyers are even considering it.
I don't think so either. I think they're very set on that, but it's going to be an interesting dynamic with the fan base of who's in on the splashy move and who wants to continue with this sustainable rebuild. It'll be a conversation we have throughout the summer, so great text there. We also have our Twitter poll up, thanks to Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. Has to do with the Phillies-Dodgers series, and we were talking about this earlier. Sean, what's our Twitter poll today?
Our Twitter poll is, after the Dodgers series, do you believe you will feel better or worse about the Phillies' chances this season? In first place, the same at 53%. In second place, feel better at 29% and feel worse at 18%.
Okay, I like that because
there's an optimism there. There's an optimism feeling there.
Yeah, and Sam should probably be the heavy favorite in that one because 3 games in May should not affect the overall outcome of the baseball season from a fan perspective, but more positive than negative shows you there are some folks buying back in on this baseball team right now. That's good to see. I like that.
I like it too.
They're going to do some special things, like what Christopher Sanchez is doing right now. Kyle Schwarber still leading Major League Baseball in home runs. They're going to do some special things this summer. You can enjoy that without having to worry about where the season ends. The season will end for a great basketball team this weekend, though. Last night, the San Antonio Spurs forced a Game 7 between them and the Thunder. That series has been incredible, and the Thunder just did not have anything going last night. Andrew Salchus, before he went on vacation, he will be back on Tuesday, so he's out the next couple of days of the show. He said that he believed there would be a Game 7 and that San Antonio would be bouncing back. How bought in are you on watching? Like, this has been clearly the best playoff series this year in the NBA. Maybe in the NBA, NHL combined with just the quality of basketball these teams are playing. Is this a sit down in front of the TV, have to watch a game?
It's one that I want to see, yeah. I want to see Game 7 of this. Because I'm fascinated with both teams. I'm fascinated with the champs. I'm fascinated with Wemby is as much must-see TV as I've seen in a long time. And this is one I will make an appointment to see. I'll probably be, I think is it an early Saturday night? I think it's an early Saturday night game.
Let me get the exact time.
If I'm not mistaken. I think they're starting it a little earlier, I hope.
Yeah, because we both have golf rounds, so hopefully it's not anything.
I got golf today and tomorrow.
Actually, 8 o'clock Saturday night.
Okay, but that's not bad because then it'll lead us into the Phillies.
Yes, that's exactly perfect. So that's a go out to the bar, get a seat at like 7:30, just buckle up for what should be a great basketball. Now, I know there's a guy, I'm not sure if you've seen him yet because he's not always a starter, but they have started him in Oklahoma City recently. Jared, I want to say McCain.
Okay.
That you might want to watch in this Game 7.
No, wait. Paints the nails.
Yeah.
Does TikTok dances.
He went to Duke. He was somewhere before Oklahoma City, but
puts
I can't
like 20 up
remember.
on in big games, like starts critical Game 5s for the team.
Second highest scorer for the Thunder last night, even though they did lose the game.
Interesting. Okay. Wait a minute. A guy that Daryl Morey thinks you can't use?
You have a parting shot on Jared McCain, not on him personally, but on the situation.
Not at all. Yeah, not on him, but it is.
So tell me about this.
Is it too simplistic? And tell me if it is. Is that the Sixers chose to keep Quentin Grimes and chose to believe in Quentin Grimes and traded away Jared McCain. Is it too simple to say that they obviously put their eggs in the Quentin Grimes basket over the Jared McCain basket?
I think it is.
Okay, explain to me why you say that.
I think that's part of the thought process. But
okay,
I do firmly,
but it is part of it.
Part of it.
Okay.
I believe the bigger part of it was that they had another move. Daryl Morey misread the market, thought there was something else out there for a secondary move that didn't materialize.
Okay.
By
the way, I do believe that also. I do believe that he thought, I know there was another broken down guy.
But why he felt the ability to take the swing was because, hey, we have Quentin Grimes.
Okay, so what I would ask you is this. Is there any general manager in the NBA that if they called today and they had Jared McCain would say, hello? Hey, we'll trade you Quentin Grimes for Jared McCain.
Has Nico Harrison gotten another job yet?
There is no general manager that would even not hang up the phone immediately. That would not laugh you off the phone. So anybody who is still defending this or still mocking it or still saying, oh, my God, we're talking about Jared McCain. Oh, my God. By the way, that's all the NBA is talking about is Jared McCain. So if you're not talking about Jared McCain, you're the one who's not talking about it. You're the one who's ignoring this because you don't want to. You don't want to admit how bad this is. There isn't a general manager in the NBA that would consider trading Jared McCain for Quentin Grimes.
No, there's not. You're absolutely correct. Now,
so to me, that is way too simplistic, Connor. Again, and at times it's a simplistic argument on my part. But to me, it is the idea that tells you how crappy that deal was. Crappy. I said crappy.
Careful over
that
there.
tells you how crappy it was.
Yes, you're right. There is no denying that. Like anyone with a basketball brain remotely, you don't even need a basketball brain. Anyone with eyes should be able to tell you that right now about the McCain Grimes thing. Here's my question. Daryl Morey got fired.
Yes.
He's no longer the president of basketball operations here. The trade ain't reversing.
Are you going to tell me I got to move on?
I'm just wondering when we do. I'm not telling you to. I'm wondering when we do.
It may be that you never move on as you watch what he becomes. As you watch what he becomes and you watch what the Sixers don't become. And hopefully we watch what the Sixers become.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about what the Sixers don't become. But when we're talking about what the Sixers become, the Sixers are going to become what they become a lot slower without Jared McCain. They are going to be a lot slower without Jared McCain.
Yeah, this is not going away anytime soon. This is going to be one of those ones that hurts you for years, and I wish we could take it back. Unfortunately, we are where we are with that, and you're going to have to watch him in a Game 7. So maybe people are rooting for the Spurs, so at least you don't have to think about it in the finals. We'll see. It'll be very intriguing basketball this weekend, another great sports event, and part of the reason why we're asking this question is, like, what do you want to see? The number one thing in Philadelphia sports this summer. You can join us on the phone line, text line, 610-632-0975. The Davis Honda text line is buzzing, so we'll check in on that in the 7 o'clock hour. Now, we're going to do A.J. Brown, talk heavy on Monday. But I do want to know, because there's a chance it happens early on Monday, what's the bar on an A.J. Brown trade? What's acceptable to you for a potential return? The drop-dead point for that comes your way next, right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.